Hi guys, this is Resident of Collinwood, and I'm here to review John Philip Betancourt's continuing blog series, The Return of Dark Shadows, Series 1, Chapter 7. People might say, well, you're taking your sweet time about it. Yes I am. Because I don't want to fuck any of this shit up at all. To me, if I rushed this, if I rushed through this and didn't take my time, it wouldn't do it justice, you know what I mean? And when you review something, and I know I'm getting off topic, you want to do it right. So that's my thing of this. So series 1, chapter 7, The Future's Past. And what this chapter is here is really diving into Claudia, Angeline, who is, or Evelyn, I know I'm probably butchering her name, but Evangeline, God, I have problems, but she's the daughter of Angelique and Barnabas, and this story here, part of it really gets into how, sort of where she is now, and maybe why the way she is in a lot of ways. We know she's Angelique's daughter, but Claudia's sort of hatred for the McCollins family, really comes from abandonment issues, where Victoria's, you know, you know what? I'm not even going to touch on Victoria right now. It's strictly about Claudia. But I love how Barnabas is done here. We don't, to me, and I was asking John Philip Betancourt this earlier, because from my reader's perspective, this wasn't so much an introduction of Barnabas. This was just Barnabas sort of, it almost feels like Barnabas is the narrator right here, almost, I dare say. It's Barnabas, you do see him, but he's almost like more of a narrator than the character telling the story. You know what I mean? It's more like we're Barnabas and we're seeing it through his eyes, to sort of give a better definition. Again, and I want to stress this when I read these are my opinions. I'm not either right or wrong. And if I'm wrong, I'm sure you could go, listen, you guys could go ask John about this. But that's just my reader's perspective about this. That this is more, we're doing this sort of through Barnabas's eyes. We're sort of watching this happen, and it's just Angeline being given to an orphanage, a Saint Mary's orphanage, in a sense of, he doesn't want her to grow up at Collinwood. He doesn't want her anywhere even remotely near Angelique, slash Cassandra. He does not want her anywhere near her mother, and I can't blame him for that. This really, it doesn't make you feel sorry so much for what Claudia has become. This sort of helps you build the symphony. Oh god, oh god, the I can't talk. Sympathy for Barnabas when he gets revealed in series 3. For me, when Barnabas finally does arrive in series 3, this helps. This sort of helps you feel sorry that he ever had to give up Angeline, and I finally pronounced her name right, thank God. And do I feel sorry for Claudia? As watching this through Barnabas's eyes, I felt sorry for her in this moment, because she didn't ask for any of this. No kid asked to be born into this world that we live in. I mean, it's definitely sort of real life imitating, art imitating life in many, many ways, and I love that. That's something I love doing myself as a writer. So that's where I definitely appreciate this right here. That
Power off.
he's, Power's going in and out here, so hopefully I'll get this video up here. If you're watching this later, it's because we got the video up. It's snowing like crazy here, but you really, when you're seeing this through his eyes, you sort of are, you're definitely feeling sorry for him, but you're feeling sorry for her in that moment that, you know, again, she didn't ask for this. And the nuns are asking Barnabas her name. He's sort of hesitant to give it. He doesn't want to give it. When was she born? And he says, the date. And that's when they come up with, Claudia for, it's a certain day in August. I believe it's the 7th. I'm going to double check here so I don't fuck this up at all. I'm gonna I'm double checking by this stuff, so I don't mess it up at all. I don't want to mess it up at all, guys. See, I'm making sure, because I read this earlier. I'm going back. The 7th of August. So that's something that, and that's how they come up with the feast of Saint Claudia. So they named Claudia is named after a saint, and that's what I love about this. You really have a nice little way of coming up with an entirely different name for the same character. And it's really creative to do that. And then when he brings you back in the present day, and this whole sequence, this sort of flashback, it's Claudia / Barnabas in a sense, is because Claudia can't stop thinking about how she failed to have Leopold, really hurt the Collins family the way she wanted it done. And again, it backfired on her. So, and then when he brings you back in the present day, when John brings you back in the present day, you have, Kate Banning and Detective Loomis McGovern really telling Carolyn and Alexander they found a body, and the body is Jack Thorne's. Now, deep down, they sort of know it's a lie, especially Carolyn. And Carolyn knows she has to protect Leopold, a lot like how Barnabas was protected. So they lie and say, yeah, okay, it's his body, and they can't figure out how these marks got on his body. And Carolyn is trying to convince them it was a suicide. They to her face they believe her, but when they walk out, they don't. They sort of question, like, no, wait a second, that couldn't have been done, like, by a no. And I like that. Here's what I like about the cops in this. Both Kate and both Detective Loomis McGovern are cunning as hell. Especially Kate Banning. Kate is very cunning, and she's very beautiful. She's very attractive. And they're trying to figure out a way to get into Collinwood to still investigate this case, even though it's technically closed. So Kate arranges a date with Caleb. And listen, this woman is very beautiful, and she could seduce pretty much any guy. And when Caleb responds back to her, she tells Detective Loomis McGovern, I'm in Collinwood, right there. And that is such a very smooth transition. I really, again, what I really enjoy about the cops here is these aren't the cops that we're used to with Dark Shadows. We're used to just the sheriff more asking questions and actually just investigating. Early on in the series, we got sort of Bill Malloy's investigation was done, right? But Burke was sort of assisting in that. There's no Burke Devlin here, and that's what I love. It's actually the cops doing the work. The cops not looking like complete idiots or relying on other people. They're relying on them goddamn selves, and I love that. That's definitely another thing I love about this blog. When you get a character here, it's not pointless. It's not just, oh, here's a character, boom, gone. No, it's development, development, development. This is why we're all excited. Do you guys see why we're all excited for March? Do you see now? Do you see? So, link will be in the description box for John Philip Betancourt's blog for this chapter in this series. I'm not done with this series either. I got a couple more chapters to revisit. But that's my video for right now. Like, share, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.